Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome JobsOhio Board Chairman Josh Rubin.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome you all to Metalis here in Stark County for our 2024 third quarter JobsOhio board meeting. Let me start by thanking all of you at Metalis for your generous hospitality. We've had a great day of meetings here yesterday, and it was just a couple months ago we were here to announce a critical investment in your efforts to make sure we continue to make steel in the United States and right here in Ohio. Our board has actually been in the area all week, and what a great time to be here. I don't think there's a more beautiful place than northeastern Ohio this time of year. But we've been meeting to come up with a new 5-year strategic plan, a plan we believe will help us stay ahead of the competition when it comes to retaining and attracting employers, employees, and economic opportunity for all of our state. As we work through this plan, we've discussed a wide variety of topics, everything from the threats and opportunities of artificial intelligence to the challenges we face in energy and our workforce, and we've heard from dozens and dozens of stakeholders to get their input and advice. We still have some work to do, but we're looking forward to sharing this plan with all of you in the very near future. This week, we also had the opportunity to visit our JobsOhio Beverage System Distribution Center up the road in Greene and get a firsthand look at the incredible operation that takes place there. You're going to hear more about this and about the outside recognition we're getting for that, but just know they've actually doubled their revenue and done it in a very responsible way. I also want to thank each of our board members and our staff for your thoughtful engagement throughout this entire process. We're fortunate to be able to call on each of you to share your experiences and knowledge as we navigate through some of these challenges and capitalize on the opportunities in front of us. The great news, and you're going to hear more about this, is we're making significant progress. For example, Site Selection Magazine releases their annual Governor's Cup rankings for total economic development projects and projects per capita. I believe we're the only state in the nation to consistently place in the top 5 of those rankings between 2019 and 2023. That's great news. But a lot of the work going on and the investments being made take time. In 2019, in his inaugural address, Governor DeWine spoke about his grandfather planting seeds for trees, even though he knew he would never live to see them. The truth is, for almost 6 years now, Governor DeWine has been planting these seeds across Ohio. He's been planting seeds in early childhood initiatives, in literacy and education, in mental health initiatives, in agriculture, in infrastructure, and most certainly in economic development. In all of these areas, the governor's been working to make things better here in Ohio in the future. And while we may not see all the benefits yet, we are definitely starting to see them take growth. We always and often talk about the importance of strong leadership. I'll give you a quote by President Truman, quote, "In periods where there is no leadership, society stands still. Progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better." And under Governor DeWine's leadership in Ohio, in so many ways, we're most definitely seeing a change for the better. And with that, it's my honor to welcome and introduce our governor, Mike DeWine.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Always good to be in Stark County. Good to see everybody. Let me first of all, thank the board. These are volunteers, and they just do a phenomenal job. And thank you for your leadership in regard to JobsOhio. I think Ohio is unique. JobsOhio really stands as an amazing model. Public-private partnership. As a private nonprofit corporation, JobsOhio works outside of state government, but it works very closely alongside our administration, as well as working with the state legislature. It is really a team effort. This JobsOhio model is something that gives us really a strategic advantage over other states. And I think we continue to see that month after month. Together, we pursued and won thousands of economic development projects that have attracted and accelerated economic growth, job opportunities, and prosperity for communities in every corner of the state of Ohio. It truly is a team effort with the legislature, JobsOhio, and with our administration. Together, we've identified regulatory reforms and enacted legislation that has significantly improved the competitiveness of Ohio's business climate. That includes tax policies, mega project incentives to industrial site preparation, infrastructure investments, all of the above, just to name a few. We have launched strategic initiatives that are redefining Ohio's global position in the innovative economy. This includes our 3 major innovation districts, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, that form the newly branded, what we call Ohio Discovery Quarter. Those districts were then the model for Ohio's 3 innovation hubs. Our innovation hubs launched this year in some of the smaller markets in the state. That includes Toledo, what we call the Glass Center for Excellence, Dayton, the On-Main Hub for Digital Transformation Technologies, and third, Akron, that we call the Greater Akron Polymer Innovation Hub. Together, we're investing to redevelop and revitalize also the historic downtown business districts of Ohio's smaller communities. I've had the pleasure of being a part of some of those groundbreaking events. We've had actually 25 what we call vibrant community groundbreakings and ribbon cutting this year. These are transformational investments in Ohio's communities, in our downtowns. The goal is to restore downtown spaces and spur existing exciting new development. And what we see there is, again, it's a public-private partnership. JobsOhio makes the decision where to strategically put this money in downtown communities based upon what the private sector is willing to do and what the private sector wants to do. But for the JobsOhio investment, these new developments in downtown, the revitalization of new downtowns would simply not be taking place. I find that extremely exciting. The response we've received from local communities to these projects has been one of great excitement. And it's also good when you talk to the people who are making it happen at the local level. They're very optimistic about their community's future. Overall, this truly, as I've said before, is Ohio's time. It's Ohio's time in history. We're building a foundation to grow and sustain Ohio's most precious resource and assets, and that is the rich talent of our fellow Ohioans. If we look at the biggest challenges that we face in moving forward, it is in making sure that we have the workforce, making sure that we have the people. The late Woody Hayes used to talk about winning with people. Ohio wins with people. None of the progress that we have talked about, none of the things that JobsOhio has done, excuse me, none of the things our economic development has done or possible without a talented workforce. We can all list the projects. Altium Cell, Intel, Ford, Honda, LG Energy Solutions, Joby Aviation, et cetera. They all promise a great future, but it depends. We have to have the people. The work that we have all done together has really only just begun, and we've only really begun to see the results. Sometimes people look at what JobsOhio is doing and what we're doing, and I think what they miss is that the great things that have been done in the last 6 years, many of them are still works in progress. Many of them are still construction is going on. And so while we see a dramatic increase in the need for workers involved in construction, Many of our projects, we have yet to see that first employee walk in the door or the machinery actually placed in that building. This is like, I would liken this to, we've been banking money. We've been banking asset. And in the next few years, as these businesses open up, you're going to see a rather dramatic increase in the number of employees, obviously going into those new businesses. As the land is, we're seeing the land developed, we're seeing equipment installed. The next thing, of course, we'll see the employees who will work there every day will be hired. Ohio, in the meantime, Ohio has added 18,000 construction jobs so far in 2024, the second highest number in history, the most since 1993. I think that these jobs, construction jobs, are sometimes underappreciated, but certainly accurately a very good indicator of JobsOhio's impact in the future. JobsOhio projects support, our JobsOhio projects really support 1 in 8 construction jobs statewide, which is an amazing number. To be honest, we need more construction workers to meet the demands of the companies building within the state. Ohio also needs the full range of our STEM professionals, our PhDs, our engineers, our certified technicians, and other knowledge workers to fill the in-demand jobs that exist today and the jobs that will exist in the future. We are addressing, through our administration, this challenge head-on with programs such as the Career Technical Education Equipment Grant Program, which ensures that more students have access to the high-quality training they need to succeed in Ohio's modern economy. Lieutenant Governor Houston and I, my wife Fran, we travel a lot throughout the state of Ohio. That particular program came about because of that travel. When we would go into career tech facilities, schools across the state of Ohio, and we would see the excitement of the young people. Many of those young people told us, I didn't like school before, I love what I'm doing today. Many of them already have a job. But that was the good news. The bad news was when we talked to the principal, we talked to the superintendent, we talked to the teachers, they would tell us we have a long, long waiting list to get into school. And once they get in, many of the students cannot get into the programs that they want and that we would like them to be able to get into. And so we asked the legislature for additional funds for our career tech educational equipment. And so they gave us that money, which is now being, again, installed. And that makes a big, big difference. Something the Lieutenant Governor has championed, our Tech Cred program, has already enabled Ohio's workers to earn more than 100,000 tech-related credentials, making it easier for Ohioans to access high-demand jobs and for businesses to find the talent they need to grow and to expand. Ultimately, we need to retain more of our STEM graduates, but we also need to produce more STEM graduates. We need to produce more in Ohio, and we need to retain more. Further, we need to market Ohio and the wonderful career and lifestyle opportunities available here. Ohio is a great place to raise a family, a great place to work, a great place to live. Quality of life in Ohio is great. We need to bring more people to the state of Ohio to meet the needs of hiring companies and contribute to the vibrancy of our communities. We also need, obviously, to keep more of our young people here. One of the great advantages we have in Ohio is that we are a net importer of college students. The fact is that many of most young people or older people, when they graduate from college, their first job is either within 60 miles of their home where they grew up or within 60 miles of where they went to college. So it's a great, great opportunity for us to keep more young people here. One of the challenges that we have given to our colleges and universities in the state of Ohio is for each of them to develop programs that gives their students real-world experiences working in Ohio companies long before they graduate. Our colleges are doing a much better job in this area. I think it used to be that colleges looked at their job as educating, and then that was it. Today, we're asking our colleges to do more, our universities to do more. Today, we're asking them to focus not only on educating these young people, their students, but also making sure that they are exposed in whatever field they're in to real-world life experiences. And what we find is when that happens, these young people like what they're doing, and many times the employers like it as well, and they end up working right here in the state of Ohio. We're seeing, in addition to that, as we look at what we need to do in Ohio, we continue to need to focus on early education. My wife, Fran, right now is headed to Ashtabula, where she's helping them expand the Dolly Parton Imagination Library in Ashtabula County. This is one of the many things that we are doing to focus on young people so they can read and that they can get the tools that they need. Yesterday I was at Hubbard High School and talking to some of the juniors and seniors, which is always a lot of fun for me. But I had a teacher come up and she said, you know, I'm glad that you answered one of the questions you talked about, the science of reading. She says, we've been doing this now, I think she said, for 6 years. If you remember, we required, several years ago, we asked the legislature to require every school in the state to use the science of reading. Hubbard has actually been doing it much longer than that. And the teacher said, you cannot believe the results. Our kids are learning so much faster. Kids who in the past had really a difficult time, would have had difficult learning to read, are now able to read. And it's made all the difference in the world. So when we talk about our future, we have to look at what we are doing, what we need to do with our young people every single day. And we're making progress, but we obviously have to do more. We want to make sure that every student who graduates from high school is on some pathway, whether it is college, whether it's the military, whether it's the trades, whatever it is. Or maybe it's going to the local community college for 2 years for additional education. Young people will change their minds. I know I did many times. But we want them to be at least on some pathway. And if they switch that pathway, that's fine. And that is really our goal for every young person. I think that we have really career-defining opportunities today that are being matched. If you look at the assets that we have, it is the education that we are now providing in Ohio. It is a cost of living that allows people to live a quality life, allows them to raise a family, have children. Again, there's no better place to live than here in the state of Ohio. I want to thank JobsOhio for also focusing on telling the Ohio story. I think one of the things that in the past we have not done a good enough job is telling what the story is about living in the state of Ohio. They're doing a very, very good job, and I appreciate that. The message we want to send to the world's entrepreneurs, to the innovators, to workers, anyone seeking a place where you can live your own version of the American dream and thrive, Ohio is the place for you to come to. To put it simply, you can have it all in the heart of it all. I could not be prouder of JobsOhio's leadership. And again, all the board members, JP and the team, they do a phenomenal job. It is a great partnership with our administration. They are helping us chart a course towards a more competitive, more innovative, and prosperous future for Ohioans. JobsOhio is a powerful asset in the global competition for business growth and economic vitality. I want to also thank the members of the state legislature for their support of JobsOhio and for the many projects secured within the state. When we've asked them to do things that needed to be done in changing the laws, in allowing us to move forward, this legislature has been not only on board, but they've been a full partner. So again, let me thank the JobsOhio Board for all you do to help companies and their employees thrive in Ohio. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you in the future. I know you've had a good retreat. I've had the opportunity to talk to a number of you. We appreciate, again, your time. The time that you put in to JobsOhio continues to pay dividends. And as governor, I'm very, very grateful. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your commitment to economic development, and thank you for your steady hand in leading our state. Let's give the governor a round of applause. Okay, our next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of our June 13th meeting. We have distributed the minutes for review. Are there any, well, first let me take a motion to approve the minutes of our June 13th meeting. Is there a motion? So moved. Excuse me, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Thank you. JP, I will turn it over to you for the President's report.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's great to be here in Canton. And I want to thank again Metalis and your team for hosting us here today. It's a wonderful facility and such an important country for our state and for this part of Ohio. And add my thanks to Governor Mike DeWine for joining us today. I'd also like to recognize some members of our legislature that are here today. State Representatives Juanita Brent, Jack Daniels, Bill Romer, our partners Stark and Tuscarawas and Richland counties, and from Canton, North Canton, Massillon Alliance, and Greene, all of whom have joined us today. It's an incredible, diverse team. It goes from the state to the region to local, and we work together as a team, and we value the partnerships. In 2019, we first evaluated the effectiveness of JobsOhio's programs and the impact over the course of its first 8 years. We identified innovation as both a gap and an area of opportunity for Ohio. With the board's approval, we made innovation a key pillar of our 5-year strategy that we call JobsOhio 2.0. Central to that strategy was the planning and launch of major innovation districts in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. As those districts approach their first 4 years of existence, I want to provide the board and all of you here with an update on the progress. This progress is the result of hard work of many people, in particular the anchors responsible for executing, but also the team members at JobsOhio, Kevin Chambers, Tyler Alchin, and Josh Hoffman, and many others that have collaborated with our 9 anchor institutions to build out opportunity, innovation, and collaboration leading the Midwest. JobsOhio drew inspiration from the Brookings Institution's model of dense, innovation-driven environments that combine world-class research institutions, high-growth industry sectors, tech-based startups in amenity-rich settings, placemaking. Our approach focused on 3 key criteria. Research excellence, number 1. We prioritize the involvement of Carnegie R1 research universities like the Ohio State University, Case Western Reserve University, and the University of Cincinnati, which are known for their world-class doctoral programs and research activities. These institutions serve as the intellectual backbone of the innovation ecosystems. Number two, life sciences leadership. Ohio's globally recognized healthcare institutions, particularly those with significant National Institutions for Health, or NIH, and National Science Foundation research funding, ensure these innovation districts are at the forefront of life sciences creativity. Three, metropolitan scale. We targeted MSAs with more than 2 million people to provide the necessary population density, talent pool, and capital resources. The governor spoke about how those were complemented by innovation hubs in some of the medium and smaller metropolitan areas in Ohio. This factor was especially important as we considered the need for increases in the number of STEM graduates and overall talent production to expand these industries. And because we demand that every JobsOhio project create a quantifiable return on investment for the state of Ohio, we set goals and performance metrics for our anchor institutions on real estate investments, and we gave ourselves a 10-year horizon to achieve those objectives. The innovation districts and strategy behind them attempt to directly tackle three major economic challenges Ohio faced. An under-indexing of growth industry sectors, the need for STEM talent to keep up with the explosive growth in demand, and a severe lack of access to early-stage growth capital that was forcing many of Ohio's promising entrepreneurs to leave the state and take their businesses with them in search for capital. While Ohio ranked number 6 nationally in healthcare jobs, we were missing out on the fastest growing areas of life sciences and information technology. Through this approach, Ohio's innovation districts will help break down silos between academia, industry, and government, and quickly translate discoveries into marketable new products, services, and growing businesses. This in turn is designed to create a powerful self-reinforcing cycle. As innovation districts increase the amount of external funding coming into Ohio, they can produce more discoveries and intellectual property that spin out to become entrepreneurial companies. And that research that those companies then inspire to retain more of the STEM talent and attract more early-stage venture capital to nurture even more research breakthroughs and still more high-growth companies. It's the flywheel effect at scale, and we're in the early stages. But there has been significant progress already. In March 2020, JobsOhio joined Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted in launching Cincinnati's Innovation District, anchored by the University of Cincinnati and Cincinnati Children's Medical Center. In January of 2021, JobsOhio helped to launch the second Innovation District in Cleveland, anchored by the Cleveland Clinic, Case Western Reserve University, Metro Health, University Hospitals, and Cleveland State University. Incredible collaboration. Just a month later, in partnership with The Ohio State University and Nationwide Children's Hospital, we unveiled the Columbus Innovation District. In 2022 and 2023, NIH funding jumped to all-time highs, reaching $1 billion. For context, I'd like to add that the state of Ohio, JobsOhio, and our anchor institutions were all collaborating and committing to invest $3 billion in Ohio's innovation future during the height of the pandemic, a time when other states were retreating. JobsOhio invested $310 million with the support and approval of this board. As I noted earlier, we were determined to see a strong return on that investment. So as you can see on the right side of the chart, we set ambitious goals for the first 10 years. And from what we've seen, the innovation, attraction, and incubation strategies are working. We're setting records for federally funded research and meeting and exceeding expectations in other key areas that we measure. We're on target to generate 47,500 STEM graduates and have moved to number 1 in the Midwest for life science degrees and number 2 for STEM program degrees. We've also generated 25% of the 10-year jobs goal and over a third of the projected economic impact. We're on track. And many of the planned facilities haven't even opened yet. They're under design, or they're already just beginning construction. For example, the Cleveland Innovation District has made remarkable strides since 2021, creating more than 2,600 jobs, spending nearly $1.2 billion on research and innovation, commenced construction of 2 new research facilities, and awarded more than 7,300 degrees and certificates to support workforce development in those very crucial in-demand degrees. Last month, we announced that Cincinnati Children's Hospital has expanded its presence by acquiring an office building in Cincinnati's Innovation District. This move brings 200 existing employees into the innovation ecosystem and promises 100 new research positions with a payroll of at least $10 million. And Honda has partnered with The Ohio State University to launch a battery cell research and development center in Columbus, right in the Innovation District, opening in early 2025. This is precisely the kind of transformative growth that the governor, lieutenant governor, and JobsOhio aimed to catalyze, and it's a glimpse of the bright future that we're building. Given the individual strengths of Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland, the innovation districts could have been mistaken for separate competing entities. Major companies and top talent are looking for robust, interconnected innovation ecosystem, not isolated pockets of excellence. Our research shows that while the 3 Cs individually rank in the 20s and 30s for key innovation metrics, we emerge as a top 10 market when they're combined. We need to think bigger, we need to move faster, and we need to speak with one clear, memorable brand, the Ohio Discovery Corridor. By unifying the brand statewide, the Ohio Discovery Corridor creates a narrative that matches our capabilities and ambitions. It's a powerhouse brand that showcases the network effects of our combined strengths and enhances our ability to compete for federal funding and national initiatives already at record highs for Ohio. As the catalyst of these innovation districts, JobsOhio and Team Ohio provides much of the connective tissue that makes this single functioning ecosystem. It's the way we work with our 7 JobsOhio network partners. The Ohio Discovery Corridor reflects the same statewide collaborative spirit and pursuit of excellence. JobsOhio is not your typical state economic development platform. It's because we're not a taxpayer-funded state agency subject to uncertain annual appropriations. As a private corporation, we have the freedom to be entrepreneurial, think long-term, and to be a consistent, trusted, and reliable partner for corporate clients and our regional and local partners over a decade-long aspirations. This gives Ohio a competitive advantage in the race to win new private capital investment, new jobs, and new payrolls to support Ohio families and communities for generations to come. Our funding model enables JobsOhio to explore creative solutions tailored to the specific needs of companies and communities, such as sites, talent, workforce development loans, and grants. Customized, curated to the needs of the business and the needs of the community. We're laser focused on 10 sectors, collectively contributing over 1.2 million high-paying jobs, representing 36% of Ohio's gross state product, 22% of Ohio's employment, and 29% of the state's payroll. By targeting these sectors and supporting businesses at virtually all stages of growth, we can maximize our impact and drive sustainable economic growth across the state and make the economy more resilient. You heard Governor DeWine say it today, and he's been saying it, and he's been driving and inspiring this activity. It is Ohio's time. It's a story of grit and resilience and hard work and forward vision of Team Ohio, which includes every single person here in this room. It's about Ohioans that got knocked down but get back up, rolling up our sleeves and getting our hands dirty and putting the state in a position to seize an incredible, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And that's what we're doing right now. Starting in the 60s and 70s, Ohio watched core industries and jobs migrate south and west across borders and oceans. And from 2001 to 2011, we saw a steepening of the downward curve as Ohio lost over 18% of jobs in those critical 10 tradable industries that provide high-paying jobs and a high quality of life for Ohio families. And we were a bottom 10 state in so many economic indicators. Recognizing the urgent need for change, state leaders and legislators stepped up. They prioritized pro-business, pro-worker policies that would lay the foundation for the comeback that we're in the middle of today. And it was this environment and with this mindset that JobsOhio was created. We weren't tasked with fixing the entire economy overnight. From the start, the mission has been focused and intentional to rebuild Ohio's industrial core across 9 private sectors, ranging from advanced manufacturing to automotive, aerospace, technology, life sciences, financial services, chemicals, logistics, and agribusiness. These are the most capital-intensive and the highest-paying industries in our state, and our state has an incredibly diverse and resilient economy as a result. We call them tradable industries because they can go wherever they feel they can be most successful and where they feel most wanted. They're highly sought after jobs. Fast forward to today, and we've not only recovered, but catapulted into national leadership. Ohio is ranked #1 among U.S. states in the Global Groundwork Index for economic development and infrastructure projects based on job creation, capital expenditures, strategic infrastructure investments, the same priorities set by Ohio's Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted. But not once, but for 2 consecutive evaluation periods spanning from 2019 to 2024, Ohio's been ranked #1. We're now #2 in mega projects in the country for 2 years running, with our mega projects like Intel and MedPace winning projects of the year, in addition to having mega projects status. We're also #2 in the country in global job reshoring and cost of doing business. This year, Ohio jumped from #12 to #7 on CNBC's Top States for Business, the best ranking for Ohio ever. We've attracted 60 companies from the coast to gain a competitive advantage in Ohio. Most importantly, we've completely reversed the job losses, adding over 220,000 new jobs in those targeted industries, a more than 22% gain. And as the governor said, we still haven't counted all those new jobs that we've been announcing the last several years. And as he noted in his remarks earlier this morning, the critical 25 to 44-year-old workforce demographic is growing significantly in Ohio. And that's good news. It's complemented by seeing the reversal of previous out-migration to an in-migration of nearly 97,000 people to our state for job-related reasons, all since 2019. Companies and job seekers that once targeted other regions are now looking to Ohio as the best place to live and to do business. Ohio is the only state in America to consistently place, and you heard the governor reference this, the only state that's been in the top 5 of site selection Governor's Cup for economic development projects, the total number and per capita. Only state. But I also wanted to call out the geographic diversity of our success here. Major metropolitan areas showed fantastic performance in site selections, top metropolitan areas. So the success isn't relegated to 1 or 2 metropolitan areas. Columbus jumped to #3. Cincinnati was not content with #8, but it moved to #4. Dayton and Kettering sustained an 18-year run in the top 10. Our wins extend beyond our most populated hubs. We lead the nation with 16 micropolitans in site selections top 100 and had the most in the top 10. You heard the governor reference the vibrant community investments that he inspired us to take on. And they're getting the attention, and now we're seeing national recognition across our whole state. Previous data may have shown the population declining around these micropolitans, but their hard work to add jobs has the 25 to 44-year-old demographic showing up to fill those jobs and build those families all across Ohio, small towns, medium towns, and large cities. Over the past decade, we've experienced tremendous growth in statewide outcomes, but in the last 5 years, we've really hit the accelerator. As you can see, from 2019 through 2023, we've grown our project count by 47%, bringing them to over 126,000 new jobs. New payroll climbed 27%, putting more money in Ohioans' pockets. And most striking is the massive leap in capital expenditure by these companies. It's a seismic vote of confidence from business in our state's long-term potential. We talked about the ripple effect starting to shape in the early days of JobsOhio, and has become one of the most powerful indicators of success. Each job we bring in is multiplying by nearly 2.5 times throughout the economy, and we don't typically report those. We report in a very conservative manner. But that's small business growing and supply chains expanding to meet the needs of incoming mega projects. Every dollar we invest brings in 17 more dollars of tax revenue from job creation and expanding business operations, meaning better schools, improve roads, upgrading infrastructure, and the ripple continues to accelerate. As we look to our 10-plus years of effectively running the Ohio Liquor Enterprise in partnership with the state of Ohio, I'm proud to highlight a few remarkable achievements. Since 2019, we've seen profits skyrocket by 42%, and that's not including the $481 million in profits that we clocked for fiscal year 2024. This isn't a short-term spike by any measure. We've maintained a compound annual growth rate of nearly 7% over the 5-year period, showcasing consistent, sustainable growth year after year. The leap in our deferred payments to the state, which is the profit-sharing agreement that was constructed in 2013, has been dramatic. Since 2019, the profit-sharing payments back to the state treasury are up over 250%. The JobsOhio beverage system gets these results because they are run with efficiency and controls of a world-class corporation, and the entire beverage marketplace has taken notice. Just last month, Moody's upgraded the JobsOhio beverage system bond rating to AA2 and AA3 based on the strength of our beverage team and our operation. So many congratulations to the chairman of the Liquor Enterprise, Josh Rubin, and Lorraine Terry and her team, who operate that very effectively. A week earlier, the Ohio Liquor Enterprise, the public-private partnership between Ohio Department of Commerce, Division of Liquor Control, and the JobsOhio beverage system, was honored with the prestigious Stateway's Overall Best Practices Award in 2024. It's the #1 control state operation in the country. Stateway said, and I quote, "From groundbreaking partnerships to cutting-edge technology, OHLQ's remarkable initiatives have not only set a new standard for control states, but have also redefined what it means to excel in this field." This important financial upgrade and industry award are built on the foundation of our beverage team's outstanding efforts. I also want to thank our Chief Financial Officer, Andrew Dye, who together with the beverage system team has provided outcome-based leadership that maximizes the profits from that enterprise, has strengthened returns and confidence in the international business markets. The incredible work they do creates more resources to invest more in economic development and even create a brighter future for Ohioans. The signposts of Ohio's economic momentum are statewide and multi-sector, and they include Intel, AWS, MedPace, Honda, LG, mega projects, along with hundreds of strategically important projects like Sierra Nevada, Metalis, right here in Massillon, Westrafo, Joby Aviation, Breeze Airways, Aer Lingus, Purina, and Abbott Labs. It's multi-sector. It's across every metropolitan area of our state. It's in large cities, it's in medium-sized cities, and it's in small communities. And the pipeline is still very strong. And since 2019, these projects are setting new state records across the board. And they're doing this while generating an increase in the return on investment to Ohio by 75%. Our work has enabled Ohio to become the 8th most diverse state economy in the country, and that's a leading indicator of financial stability and resilience. and our rate of diversification outstrips that of our Midwest and coastal competitors. So we're becoming more diverse at a faster rate than our competitors are, meaning more resilience. As you know, we've got a unique production in Ohio. We have many large cities, medium-sized cities, but in building our JobsOhio 2.0 plan, we discovered the true area of opportunity for economic development is with our smaller cities. These people who live there in the smaller communities are passionate about them because they're culturally rich and wonderful places to live. And they're a unique asset here in Ohio. And we recognize that thriving small businesses and downtown districts are crucial to building vibrant communities that attract big project wins like the ones you saw in the previous slide. But they also provide an outstanding and unique alternative in the fierce competition for workforce, for attracting and retaining our workforce. Since 2020, we've provided grants, purchased equipment, and supported projects that have helped more than 520 small businesses and 25 downtown districts in Ohio's smaller communities expand opportunities, attract outside investment, and revitalize business districts. You heard the governor reference this. There's a level of excitement that's spreading all across Ohio and a rebirth of these communities. Another part of our commitment to connecting people to the state of Ohio and attracting businesses and talent in the process is JobsOhio's Air Service Restoration Program launched in 2020. And I see Terry Slaybaugh here who leads that for us. Our goal was to increase the number of destinations served at the state's 7 commercial airports. Simply put, if we want to land a company operation in Ohio, we need to land new passenger flight routes as well. And to date, we've added air service to 30 routes from 6 airlines with British Airways, Aer Lingus, and bringing direct connections to London and Dublin. Breeze Airways has reinvigorated the Akron-Canton Airport with the assistance from this program, and they've added 10 nonstop routes since May of 2021. WorldPay's CEO made it clear that the British Airways route to London had a significant impact on the company's decision to bring its corporate headquarters back to Greater Cincinnati. As you've heard today from the governor and from our chairman, the vision that established JobsOhio in 2011 has laid the foundation for the last 5 years of record announcements. And those announcements, and over the coming years, will continue delivering economic growth to power Ohio's economy for generations to come. We've had great partners, and we have great partners. The leadership, paramount is the leadership of the team, and the leadership of Team Ohio is Governor Mike DeWine, with the strong support and leadership from Lieutenant Governor John Husted. They provide outstanding leadership. They get involved and get their hands dirty in these deals, the large ones, the small ones. They get involved, as does this board. We've had support from the General Assembly. It has created the ideal environment for job creation and prosperity. But the difference and the thing that has given Ohio and companies another competitive advantage is this JobsOhio platform and our partners. We're unique, we're statewide, and we can focus on our stable, independent funding stream. Less red tape, since we're private. We're not for profit, which means we focus on the needs of the client and the needs of the community. From the groundbreaking to the ribbon cutting and beyond to ensure success. And to the JobsOhio team and the teams of our partners, we have world-class customer service. It's not me saying that. That's according to Net Promoter. A company will have an experience with a JobsOhio or a network partner associate, and they'll go back and record that experience, and they're grading the team as world-class. So congratulations to the team. We wanted you to hear from some of those clients directly on how JobsOhio is helping them to achieve a competitive advantage in our state and with their decision to grow. So would you please roll that video, Mr. Eck?
Ohio, a place where innovation and opportunity thrive, right here in the heart of it all. But this wasn't always the story. Between 2001 and 2010, Ohio lost 18% of its jobs in 10 critical sectors of the economy. Businesses were fleeing, and optimism in the American heartland was depleted. So in 2011, JobsOhio was created to help reverse that trend, to rewrite Ohio's story. One connection, one investment, and one job at a time. Fast forward to today, Ohio is open for business again, and the world is taking notice. And now global giants like Intel, Joby, Sierra Nevada Corporation, Honda, Sherwin-Williams, and the United States Air Force, and many, many more are growing, all right here. Why? Because Ohio is where businesses can thrive and their people can live their own version of the American dream.
At the end of the day, the states are competing against each other for business. I would say JobsOhio had been absolutely fantastic, essential to us deciding to locate here.
We saw tremendous opportunity to build and grow in Ohio.
The auto industry is going through a once-in-a-100-year transformation. And for Honda, that transformation is starting right here in Ohio.
These world-class companies choose Ohio, and they're not alone. JobsOhio has empowered the creation of more than 200,000 jobs, launching high-paying careers in growing, innovative sectors of the economy across every corner of our state.
And these are really good jobs, high-paying jobs at all levels. It's bringing technology and the types of jobs that we need in the region.
From the initial site selection of a sweet spot with diverse labor pool to the promotion of our future jobs and training support for our new hires, JobsOhio has proved integral in making sure the most important part of our operations is put front and center, the people.
We've set the groundwork, literally, being ranked #1 in the world for infrastructure and economic development investment. And we're not just leading in sites, we're leading in opportunities.
We looked at, 10 different sites in 7 different states. We just needed to find another location that had the infrastructure and that was in the right location for all the factors to enable that growth.
From site selection to workforce identification to countermeasure collaboration, and then to the partnership on the promotion of our activity. Having frequent, open, and honest communication with JobsOhio is what made this project possible and successful.
So what's our secret? Unmatched service. At JobsOhio, we don't just offer you a place to land, we walk alongside you and help you build a future.
It's fantastic. The relationship, the trust, the speed at which they work. This would not have happened without JobsOhio.
The ability to pick up the phone on either side and talk through the challenges and solutions in an open, transparent way is what makes Honda's partnership with JobsOhio so refreshing and enduring.
This is just the first step of our plans for Ohio to become a major part of our company's manufacturing footprint. From support for infrastructure build-out to talent development, to tie with relevant industry partners, Ohio continues to be the right enabler for us.
Not an accident that major corporations and companies are coming to Ohio. If you didn't have JobsOhio, Ohio would be losing. Because you have JobsOhio, Ohio is winning right now. That is absolutely critical for the growth of the state.
We've reached a turning point in our history, attracting the biggest names in business and the unmatched talent that's calling Ohio home. We're not just competing with other states, we're winning. And now Ohio is growing in jobs, in manufacturing, and in innovative ideas. People are staying here, moving here, investing here, and growing here. At JobsOhio, we exist to help your company and your people thrive right here in the heart of it all.
Well done, Josh Eck and the marketing comms team. So I want to join the governor in thanking the General Assembly for extending JobsOhio's partnership of the state's spirituous liquor enterprise for an additional 15 years in the last state budget. We're very grateful to your support for that. This extension is important for many reasons, not the least of which is that we are living in a time of great opportunity. where companies around the globe are looking at the American Midwest and seeing a place where they can put down roots, grow, and thrive. Ohio must seize this opportunity. Many JobsOhio deals, especially the mega projects, those strategic mega projects that bring supply chains with them and intellectual capital, span many years where we continue to provide assistance and accountability to our client companies. And this extension gives us the ability to make long-term investments and earn big wins for the people of Ohio. We look forward to the controlling board ratifying that contract, and we're again very grateful for the support of the legislature and Governor Mike DeWine. Now it's my privilege to introduce my colleague and champion for Ohio, Phil Greenberg, Chief of Staff at JobsOhio. Phil's dedicated leadership makes all JobsOhio operations run smoother, but his focus today is on a three-year partnership to bring Forbes Under 30 summits to Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus. In the third quarter, we held the 11th Forbes Annual Under 30 Summit from September 22nd to the 25th in the Queen City of Cincinnati to retain and attract talent. Phil, looking forward to your report.
Thank you so much for having me, JP, and thank you to the board for your investment and your belief in the Forbes 30 Under 30. JP, thank you for your vision and leadership, and start off with a big thank you to the team. This really couldn't be possible without the efforts of the JobsOhio team and the partners. I know that Ready Cincinnati is in here. Thank you, Kim, for your work. Thank you to Gary Lindgren at the Cincinnati Business Committee and the Cincinnati Visitors Bureau. Also, to start off too, the collaboration between the City of Cincinnati, Hamilton County, JobsOhio, and all of our partners was just wonderful and really helped make this a huge success. So the Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit continues to showcase Ohio's entrepreneurial spirit and ecosystem to a global audience. Last month's events in Cincinnati were no exception. We had over 3,000 registrants with thousands attending in person over the 4-day event in September. These attendees came from over 44 states and over 66 countries. So the emphasis again was on a global audience. This was a significant increase in our out-of-state attendees compared to last year, and people are starting to catch on that Ohio's appeal is worth the trip. We kicked off day one this year with Ohio's Lieutenant Governor John Husted welcoming Forbes 30 Under 30 listers and attendees, and we were off to the races. As an extension of the summit, Forbes also hosted a first-of-its-kind Women in Sports Summit at TQL Stadium, featuring Olympic gold medalist Sarah Nurse and the Professional Women's Soccer League and U.S. Women's National Team player Midge Purse, among other listers and female pioneers. The summit facilitated over 1,300 meetings through an event-specific networking app. Again, a massive increase year over year. You could really feel the buzz in the air and online. And this year's summit generated over 5.7 billion impressions on social media. That's billion. So it's safe to say Ohio is trending, and for all the right reasons. These summits are a statement, and what they say is that Ohio is where innovation happens and where the future is being built. And for, again, the thousands of folks that attended in person, it was a chance to experience what it's like to be in a state with the second lowest cost of doing business, the fourth lowest cost of living, and the best quality of life, bar none. And again, this is just year 2 out of a 3-year commitment that we have. Next year is going to be in Columbus. And as I said in Cincinnati, a world-class city deserves a world-class event. And we are grateful that Forbes was able to come to Ohio and that we could showcase those cities. But again, hard for me to just put it into words, and I know that we have a video that I'd like to show JP that kind of at least encompasses what Cincinnati was like. It was an amazing 4 days, and again, I can't express my gratitude again for all of the support that you brought to it and the board and our team. So thank you again, sir.
Welcome to Cincinnati.
2024 Forbes Under 30 Summit.
Thank you, Phil. Cincinnati showed incredibly well, and it's one of our great Ohio cities, one of America's great cities. And we're looking forward to the activation in Columbus next year. And again, the primary focus is the young demographic that we want to bring here, that we want to keep here, to work at these wonderful business opportunities and investments. So let me close out with this. Our Jobs Ohio team is proud of the work that all of us have put in with Team Ohio. The key to our success, and we don't strive or even pretend that this is one organization. In fact, it's one of our strengths that we work through partnerships. So thanks to the support of the visionary policies of the DeWine and Husted administration and the foresight of the legislature, our regional network partners, we've doubled down and fine-tuned an F1 style operating model that's delivering success and results for all of Ohio. Governor DeWine pointed out in his remarks this morning that some of these big project wins take years. Construction, additional time to ramp up and hire for operations. But if you look across the 9 of our large agreements with customers like Ultium Cells, the clinic, Intel, and Ford, there are more than 14,000 good-paying jobs coming in 2026 and beyond. So you're seeing these announcements are the seeds that are being planted, and the companies are laying concrete in the ground, steel, and beginning their hiring process. Those companies are investing over $37 billion in CapEx for fixed asset facilities and equipment that's driving a boom market for the construction industry here. Ohio's producing exciting job growth that supports everyone from the tool belt tradespeople to technicians, engineers, researchers. Those job opportunities are just the start of sustainable economic growth and will pay dividends for decades to come. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, JP. A lot going on. Kind of feels like we're just scratching the surface, though, and we have a lot more work to do. So thank you. We will now turn to the committee reports, and I'll start with the report on the executive committee. So our executive committee has met twice this quarter. As we do every meeting, we approve the minutes of the last meeting. We receive updates from all of the chairs from our standing committees, which you will hear shortly. During our September meeting, we re-elected both Kevin Giangola and JP Nassif to serve on the Jobs Ohio Beverage System Board of Directors. And again, the operation that is going on with the beverage system is just phenomenal, and it's really paying dividends so that we can all engage in the kind of economic activity that we want to. Also during that meeting, we recommended that the board appoint 4 individuals to 1-year terms on the corporation's independent review panel. And then finally, yesterday, the board we had a recommendation that the board appoint Andrew Dye, Jobs Ohio's new CFO, as treasurer of the corporation. And Andrew is here, and I'd like to just take a moment and recognize him. Andrew's done a phenomenal job for this organization for a while and is now being recognized to the extent that he deserves as our new CFO. So let's give a hand to Andrew Dye. Thanks for all your hard work, Andrew. I will now turn it over to Lori Gillette, the chair of our audit committee. Lori?
Thank you, Chairman Rubin. The audit committee of the Jobs Ohio Board of Directors met 3 times this quarter, approving the minutes of each previous meeting as the first item of business. An executive session with only board members present was held at the end of each meeting. At its meeting on July 29th, the committee discussed and approved the annual financial audit plan presented by Deloitte, Jobs Ohio's firm of independent public accountants. The committee also discussed options for retaining a firm of independent public accountants for the current fiscal year 2025. Finally, in July, the committee discussed recommendations from Claudia Harrington, Jobs Ohio's Managing Director for Enterprise Risk, regarding cyber incident risks and the purchase of cyber protection for directors and executives of the corporation. At its September meeting, the committee received the final report from Deloitte on its financial audit for JobsOhio and JobsOhio Beverage System. Deloitte advised that they had issued a clean audit opinion for both JobsOhio and JobsOhio Beverage System. Standard audit topics and procedures were followed, and there were no corrections required to the financial statements presented by management. The audit yielded no unusual or significant matters to bring to the committee's attention, and the corporation's practices on grant accruals, loan loss allowance, composition of investments, and accounts receivable are all acceptable. Deloitte advised that this was a very clean audit, with no matters or observations identified for discussion, and compliments were provided to the corporation's accounting team overall. Following the presentation and discussion by committee members, the committee approved the fiscal year 2023 audit report as it was presented and directed it to be posted on JobsOhio's website. Upon completion of their audit report, the Deloitte representatives were excused from the meeting, and the committee discussed the performance of the firm and its retention as independent certified public accountants for the current fiscal year 2025. The scope of the proposed work for Deloitte would be to conduct quarterly financial reviews, the annual financial audit, and the annual compliance and control review for the corporation. Following lengthy discussion, the committee authorized management to retain Deloitte for the audit and review work during fiscal year 2025, conditioned upon the required consultation with the Auditor of State. Finally, in September, members of the JobsOhio accounting team then provided detailed financial information to the committee for both the previous quarter and fiscal year to date, as well as detailed budget to actual reviews of expenditures and revenues for the same periods. At its meeting yesterday, the committee received a brief update on the preliminary financial results for the first quarter of fiscal 2025, which will not be completed until early next month. The majority of the meeting was discussion with Ms. Harrington on various compliance and enterprise risk matters. These included an update on progress in finalizing the agreed-upon procedures for the statutorily required compliance and control review for fiscal 2024, as well as the announcement that JobsOhio had received a 5-year reaccreditation from the Standards of Excellence Institute. This accreditation is awarded to only 200 of approximately 1.8 million nonprofit corporations in the country and recognizes that JobsOhio satisfied 67 benchmark standards of excellence in the areas of mission, strategy, leadership, legal compliance, ethics, finance and operations, and public transparency. Ms. Harrington next gave a detailed review of the annual ethics course that every board member, officer, and employee of JobsOhio is required by Ohio law to fulfill. She noted that all board members, officers, and staff be required to complete the web-based training. Ms. Harrington noted that once approved, the content of the ethics presentation will be posted on the JobsOhio website and will be provided to all current employees of JobsOhio, as well as those hired during the coming year. The full board received the annual ethics training at the beginning of yesterday's private session. Following discussion, the committee unanimously recommended and the full board approved the annual ethics course for 2024-2025. Next, Ms. Harrington reviewed feedback from a second cybersecurity tabletop exercise that was led by outside cyber counsel in early October, and she provided a detailed report on overall enterprise risk management activities achieved during the quarter. Committee members were provided copies of the corporation's business continuity plan and its cyber incident response and communication plans. Finally, Ms. Harrington reviewed highlights of her ongoing professional development in enterprise risk and shared learning from a recent Risk Institute program she attended. And with that long summary of everything we did this quarter, Chairman Rubin, I conclude my report.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions for Lori from the board? Lori, I want to just commend you. Somehow you were able to juggle your audit committee and board duties, your mom duties, your day job duties, and you do it all very well. So thank you for all your assistance. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, Rick Platt, the chair of our compensation committee, will now give a report. Rick?
Thanks, Chair Rubin. Twice this quarter, the committee met. Our focus primarily was on review and development of the corporation's executive compensation structure, working with our expert outside compensation consultant, Newport Group. As we've already heard, the committee had an update on a nationwide search that yielded close to home new CFO hired by our CEO, that's Andrew Dye, to serve in that CFO role. Our Vice President of Human Resources, Sheila Akins, gave us an update on our benefits of the corporation. Two will highlight a successful audit of our 401k program, as well as results from insurance premiums and our health care premiums that will continue to pay a benefit. So with that, Chairman Rubin, that's my report.
Thank you, Rick. Any questions or comments for Rick? Okay, last but certainly not least, I will turn it over to John Bishop, the chair of our investment committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee met 3 times this quarter with minutes, as they always are, from the previous meeting reviewed and approved. During just this past quarter, the committee reviewed and approved or recommended a total of nearly $63.3 million in incentives in 11 core economic development projects. The companies involved in those projects had to commit to create or retain at least 1,750 new total jobs with an associated annual payroll of nearly $170 million. They will also make, and this is very important, capital improvements and investments of almost $2 billion, actually $1.99 billion just in the state of Ohio. The committee also recommended, and the full board later approved, a major contract for the services to support the Black Tech Week program in Cincinnati for 3 years. That's a very sought-after event. Other states and communities were interested in seeing it move from Cincinnati, and it's committed for another 3 years. We also approved round 2.0 of the IACME, the Institute for Advanced Composite Manufacturing and Innovation consortium program in cooperation with the University of Dayton. We agreed to afford incentives over a 5-year period. The importance there is that is a preeminent think tank. Being in the Dayton area, you might expect it focuses on flight and aerospace type projects. Then yesterday, the committee received updates on several recent project decisions and had several discussions of possible new economic development opportunities in the near future. More to come on that. Finally, at yesterday's meeting, the committee received the quarterly reports from the corporation's outside investment portfolio advisors, Cardinal Investments, as well as the quarterly report from the JobsOhio Growth Capital Program. Our challenge to the outside investors has been to find ways to minimize fees without sacrificing returns. It's a big challenge, but that's the reason we hire them. Mr. Chairman, with this summary, I conclude my report in the investment committee.
Thank you, John. Any feedback, questions for John? No? Okay. Is there any new business that any of our board members would like to bring forward? Hearing none, we'll move to our closing remarks, and let me just start again by thanking everyone here at Metallus. You've been wonderful hosts, and we heard a lot of great information over the last couple of days about the really neat stuff that's going on here, and we thank you for your work and dedication. During the video that JP had showed, I think it was the gentleman from Sierra Nevada that said it's not an accident that they're here and that what's happening in Ohio. And that struck me because as we are embarking on this new 5-year strategic plan, we have to be very intentional about where we want to go and where we want to allocate our resources. And I did this at our last board meeting, but I'm going to do this again each and every one of you are a part of this, and we need your feedback. We welcome your feedback. We'd love to engage with all of you as we continue to fine-tune that plan and make sure that we understand how JobsOhio, because of who we are and our unique structure and our ability to be nimble and agile and sometimes take on more risk, how we can be the most helpful to do what it is that you are all trying to get done. So with that, we'll go through each of our board members. Lori, we'll start with you. Any closing comments?
Sure. Last night I was just reflecting on the past couple days of being here and just all the planning that we're doing for the future of JO 3.0 and Ohio's economic development. And it just keeps bubbling to the surface for me that just this combination that we have of JobsOhio and the state of Ohio, and you heard it, if not a dozen times today, it's such a competitive advantage, and it's nothing to take lightly. I'm proud of that competitive advantage that we have, and proud of the JobsOhio team, that all the innovating that they're doing and how they just push forward as we look to this 3.0 plan. They're always trying to find the best solutions for our clients and for our state. And to your point, just of being nimble and agile, and it's grateful to be part of that team. And I also just had the chance last night to just reflect on the fact that I love raising my family here. I love running a business here. And I mean, the governor said, and the list goes on, but the cost of living, the quality of life, the universities, the culture. I heard it this morning, everyone that I was talking to before the meeting saying the same thing. Just the growth trajectory of the state, it's just unparalleled. It's unparalleled, and just great meetings. Thank you, for everything the past few days, and I'm really excited about Ohio's future. So, thank you.
Thank you. John?
Sure. I don't have to tell anybody here, I'm sure, that we are in the middle of one of the most challenging national political environments that I've seen in my 74 years. It's just sickening to many people. And irregardless of which party you're in, I think the best thing about it, it's about done in about 2 weeks. So I think we can move on to other things. I bring that up because it's important to note that doesn't apply to Ohio and specifically to JobsOhio. As you saw, the governor's commitment coming here from Columbus today, he had other things he probably could have been doing. But the JobsOhio and the growth of jobs in the state are a preeminent concern and have been since JobsOhio was created at a time when our unemployment rate in the state was 11%. It's hard to believe that occurred not that long ago. And where it is today, it's phenomenal change. And that wouldn't have happened without the commitment of people like JP and his staff. They're the ones that are on the ground every day. It's not us board members. We meet 4 times a year, but it's the team that works so closely also, and I know we have legislators present, with the Ohio legislature. Phil's team works closely with the legislature to keep them informed. I think there were some 3,000 contacts made, and that's important because they represent those very important people, the taxpayers and the citizens of Ohio. So I guess if you haven't seen it already, we're excited about the future. The times and the opportunities that are here to come are tremendous. And that list of awards that JobsOhio received, we don't influence those. Those are from independent parties that assess those. And to see the kind of recognition of the efforts of the JobsOhio team and their staff, it's been very well deserved.
Thanks, John. Well said. Scott?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for a great week. Thank you for your leadership. It's good to be in Canton. I've never been here before, but what a great town. JP, thanks to you and your team. It's been a really good week, and it doesn't happen by accident. So thanks to the staff, the management team, that not only the content and everything in terms of the preparation, but the communication, the collaboration is we dug into the agenda. And thanks again to the regional partners. I say it quarter over quarter. You all are here, and what a great team, and it's great to catch up on a quarterly basis. I'd also like to do a shout out to Lorraine Terry. She got to participate in a lot of it this week, and we learned a lot more about that JobsOhio beverage system and the engine that enables JobsOhio to exist. And it's one thing to see the revenues and the profits and the impact, their operational efficiencies on PowerPoints or on Excel spreadsheets, but we got to do a tour of the Green Distribution Center, and to see that operation. I see some representation here in the meeting today. What a great tour. What an incredible operation, and all the things that you're doing to prepare for the future was really impressive. So thanks to the staff out there and the DHL partnership. What a quality group of people. So that was really a good thing. As we dug into the JobsOhio 3.0 strategic planning, we covered a lot of ground across all the industry sectors, across all the regions, workforce, obviously, and there's just a lot of complexities that go into it to ensure that JobsOhio just continues this wave of momentum and these successes that we've heard about year over year. So Jobs 3.0 is coming together. More about that in the next quarter, for sure, but I'm really optimistic and excited about how it's coming together. Not only how we close out 2024, but really where we move from 2.0 to 3.0 and how we're positioned for the next 5 and 10 years out. So it's been a great week.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for being here. Dr. Thornton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's very obvious, I think, to all of us as board members that JobsOhio is our business development and job creation advantage. We really do have an advantage in Ohio with this opportunity to participate in an organization that is fast forward, moving, and always research-based. And speaking of the research, these last couple of days where we have spent time really looking at our planning for the future, the research that's gone into it, the community and civic development that's part, and engagement that's part of it, encompasses all of the projects that we see coming forward in the pipeline. I would say that it's always obvious to us the role that our regional network partners play, and we're grateful for their input and their representation of their communities and the preparation that they go through with their communities to have job-ready sites so that our plans can really become a reality. So we do appreciate all that they're doing and the partnership and collaboration that goes into our strategic planning. Our strategy for the future, I think, is strong and certainly one that will succeed, and we will see a lot of development in our community based on our going forward with our new projects. When we look at the 10 sectors that we are involved with, they are the right sectors, JP. They are the ones that we should be engaged with, and the talent within JobsOhio will help us as a board and a state to succeed. It's a pleasure being with you.
Thank you. Tom?
Thanks, Josh. And thank you, Josh, for cheering JobsOhio. You've absolutely done an outstanding job. It's great having you with us. And Ohio is a victim of its own success, thanks to JP and his team. Great work and the regional partners. It's really an amazing success story. You've seen the data. And we have a robust pipeline, and we're excited to work our way through it in the next couple of years. One thing that did come out of these conversations, very important, underpinning all of this is going to be the need for energy and talent. And that's going to be a collaborative effort among many institutions across the state. But we recognize it, we're going to face it, and it's something we're going to tackle. So thank you all for all of your hard work. And again, a shout out to the beverage system and Lorraine and her work. That was so impressive, what they've done with that company. It's fantastic for our state. So thank you all again.
Thanks, Tom. Rick.
Josh, thank you. I'm home. This is I'm a Stark County product, proud to have grown up in Massillon. Being here for 4 days, anyone knows me might be surprised I still haven't picked up a Krause's pizza yet, but I'll remedy that soon. So many things reminiscing about. I'd see if I can tie some things together. It's hard. There's 2 days and 2 hours from now, there'll be a football game going on that has a 130-year rivalry and history. My fellow board members pointed out when we were here in Canton all the Maslin sucks signs. Let's be blunt. I don't know if the mayor of Maslin might just left, so, but he could admit that if we went to Maslin, we didn't, but if we had gone there, there'd have been maybe more and worse signs about Canton. But that's that 130-year football rivalry, and there's good things that come from that, those bluntness between the communities. Arguably, it gave birth to the NFL. Both these cities had NFL or pro teams before there was an NFL. But it also it causes me to think about Paul Brown. From Maslin, well, actually from Niles, but grew up in Maslin, really put Maslin on the map, went to Oxford. There's still a team in Cleveland named after him. He was at Ohio State. And then, of course, the Bengals are still owned by his family in Cincinnati. He's an all-Ohio guy. So let's see if we can tie this together. So I might try to argue that JobsOhio is analogous to Paul Brown's football story. Paul Brown was known for innovation, and I think that clearly fits, that we're the spark to innovation at JobsOhio. Preparing to win against hard competition. That's JobsOhio, and it was Paul Brown. Embracing partnerships. In Maslin, we still have a booster club that really he was the spark to. And then focused, in JobsOhio case, focused on our industrial core and those companies that we want to have invest here. And then just like Paul Brown, it's an all-Ohio story. Everyone around the state can appreciate the work that's been done by JobsOhio to make their community stronger and better. So proud to have been with my fellow board members, but especially happy to have been back in wonderful Stark County.
Yeah, well said, Rick. You going to try to top that?
I think I can top it, but it's my turn. So want to thank the board, and think what I feel here, and I think what's reflected here is optimism and energy in a time of uncertainty and turbulence. It's wonderful to be part of this team. There's been a lot of discussion of Ohio's diversity of our communities, and you can see reflected in the JobsOhio platform. We had our team leader, the governor, here. We've got board members from different disciplines, different part of the state, different levels of experience. We've got our staff, our regional partners, our local partners, local elected officials from both parties. But we all come together, we work together, and we rally around our common belief in our quality of life and our way of life in Ohio. It is a special place, and the effort that you all put in is not only special and unique, but it's winning. And I want to make sure there's been a lot of reference of the partners, and they really are our partners. They're here today. They're here virtually at every one of our board meetings. They don't work for JobsOhio. These are independent partnerships. They have separate boards, and they need to have separate boards and separate organizations because they reflect the uniqueness of those communities in our state, and they are different. And not everything starts and ends, in a central entity in Columbus. But when we work together with Columbus in a state perspective, across public, private sector, across different political affiliations, state, local, federal, we're proving that we can be successful and we can win. And I want to make sure I recognize, first, our board for putting this time in, not only during a retreat, but month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year, to look after this incredible asset. I want to thank the staff who wake up every day, 7 days a week, most of them, because they care. They're also being compensated, but Friday nights at 10 at night and Saturdays and Sundays many times because they care about the outcome. And they do care about the outcome. So I want to thank Canton and Maslin community for hosting us, the network presidents and their surrogates for coming here today, Alexa from Lake to River is here, the Mahoning Valley. Dean from Northwest Ohio, from Lima up to Toledo. Kim from Ready Cincinnati. Katie Farber from Ohio Southeast. Elaine Bryant representing Jeff Hoagland and the Dayton Development Coalition. We work together with these teams. We're a symbiotic unit. We don't always get along, we don't always agree, but we always have the same outcome in mind and the same affection and affiliation, which is paramount. I'd like to extend a special note of gratitude to Bill Kaler, Team Neo's CEO for the last 10 years. Many of you know that Bill is passing the torch this year. And I want to thank Bill on behalf of Jobs Ohio and all these partners for his leadership and his partnership and his friendship, for bringing his expertise as a highly successful banker into the world of community and economic development. We're grateful for the work you've done and the progress you've made in Northeast Ohio. And we are sad to see you go, but we support whatever decision you've made, and we're looking forward to what comes next for you and for continuing the relationship. So with that, I'd like to thank all of you, and Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, JP. Our next quarterly meeting is scheduled for Thursday, December 5th. There will be more to come on that. And with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.